Hello, and welcome to this lecture on the difference between complex and complicated and their relationship with systems thinking. In this lecture, we will discuss the definitions of complex and complicated, provide examples of how they are used, and explain how systems thinking can help us understand these concepts better. Difference between complex and complicated. Let's start with the definitions of complex and complicated. Something is complicated if it has many parts or steps, making it difficult to understand or work with. For example, assembling a complex piece of furniture may be complicated because it involves following multiple instructions and using various tools. On the other hand, something is complex if it has many interconnected parts that interact unpredictably, making it hard to understand or predict. For example, the behavior of a group of people may be complex because it involves the interaction of individual personalities, emotions, and motivations. Proper application of complex and complicated. Understanding the difference between complex and complicated is important because they require different approaches to handle them. Here are 3 examples of how we use these terms properly. When designing a simple machine, we need to consider its individual parts and how they work together. This is a complicated task because it involves multiple steps and parts. When developing a traffic control system, we need to consider the behavior of individual drivers and how they interact with each other. This is a complex task because it involves unpredictable interactions among many people. When managing a large organization, we must consider the various departments and how they interact. This is complicated and complex because it involves many parts and unpredictable interactions. Systems thinking is an approach to problem solving that considers the interactions between the parts of a system. It's a way to understand how individual components work together to create a whole. When we apply systems thinking to complex and complicated systems, we can better understand how they work and predict their behavior. If we don't take systems thinking approach to complex and complicated systems, we may miss important interactions between components. For example, if we design a traffic control system without considering the behavior of individual drivers, we may create a system that doesn't work as intended. Similarly, managing an organization without considering the interactions between departments may create conflicts that hinder productivity. Here are 3 examples of what could go wrong if we don't take a systems thinking approach. If we design a building without considering its environmental impact, we may create a structure that harms the environment. If we create a healthcare system without considering the needs of patients, we may create a system that fails to deliver adequate care. If we develop a new technology without considering its impact on society, we may create a system that causes unintended consequences. In conclusion, complex and complicated systems require different approaches to handle them properly. Complicated systems have many parts or steps, while complex systems have many interconnected parts that interact unpredictably. Systems thinking is an approach to problem solving that considers the interactions between the parts of a system. It helps us better understand complex and complicated systems and predict their behavior. If we don't take a systems thinking approach, we may miss important interactions between components, which can lead to unintended consequences.